welcome to another quick tip video. Today I want to share with you how I made some dimensional eyes. For my products, I am using enamel accents. This is what works for me. You can try Nuvo drops. I personally like enamel accents better, so that's what I'm going to be using. This is a baker's kind of non-stick sheet. They're very tiny. This was a gift from a crafty friend. But if you have a silicone baking sheet, your Ranger craft mat, anything like that is going to work. You just want it to be non-stick. So the first thing I want to do is squirt out some of my white enamel accents. Now I am making different sizes here. You want them to be a little bit uniform, so make sure you have 2 uniform dots that could be little eyes on, or sometimes you have critters with 1, so I guess it really doesn't matter. But you want to make sure that you make a few uniform and then just squirt them out. You can make as many or as few as you want. I made quite a few here. I wanted to test a few different ways, and I'll show you both ways that I did this and what I found works best for me. If you don't have a non-stick mat, you could always try some wax paper or some parchment paper as well. And enamel accents, they seem to really flatten out for me. Not really flatten out, but they don't have that little tip on them. If you have the Nuvo drops, and I've seen some people's with the little dot, you can try tapping on the bottom. You can also try sticking a little pin in them and kind of swirling them around, and that will get rid of the dot sometimes as well. Now for the black center of the eye, instead of using the tip of the bottle, I am going to pick up a pin. This is just a straight pin that you would use in sewing, and I have squirted a little bit of the enamel accents onto a paper towel. Then I'm going to pick up some. It'll look like a little dot almost on the end of my pin, and then I'll just place that dot right in the center of each eye. And this is what allows me to get those teeny tiny little dots on them. What I found as I was putting this on is that whenever you put on the black center, it's going to look larger than it actually dries. So some of these are a little bit bigger, and then as they dry, they almost shrink down a little bit. So I actually found that waiting for the whites to dry and then coming in with black on top is actually the way I would go. But if you want a very teeny tiny eye with a very teeny tiny center, this might be a better way to go. But for the larger size eyes that I'm going to be using here today, I decided to go back in with a coat on top. That's also going to add more dimension to the eyes, but it looks really cute in the long run. So I'm just dotting these with the straight pin, and again, this just ended up being too small for me, so I will go ahead and let these all completely dry and then come back in with just the bottle. But here is a close-up of how they look right now. Now I let them dry, and then you can see some of the dots shrank a little bit. That's okay. I'm going to come back in with some more enamel accents. Now again, you can wait until they're dry, then use the pen if you want to, and just place little drops right on top of the white circles, and that works great. However, I found it just a little bit quicker just to go in straight from the bottle. If you have a quilling precision tip or one of those very precise tips, you can get even smaller dots, but I found just the normal tip worked really well for me. And I'm just coming in and holding my bottle straight up and down. I am putting just a little dot right on there and then pulling straight away. You don't want to come from the left or the right because you will get a little bit of smearing. And I really like the look of this better with the larger black centers in them. Now I let my whites dry overnight, I should mention that, and then I came back in with the black the next day. It doesn't take that long to dry. You don't have to wait overnight. That's just, I was at the end of my day and I decided to try this out. So that's why I waited overnight. But it does take a little bit of time to dry. So these aren't something that you're going to be able to do very quickly. However, if you have a card that you would like some dimensional eyes on, you can always do this straight on the paper. You do not have to do this on a craft mat and then save them. You can do it straight on the paper as well, and this is a great way to do it. It just takes a little bit of time for the drying process. But if you don't need the car right then, it'll totally work out. Now again, I'm going to go ahead and give you a close-up, and then I let that dry completely. Again, that took about 3 to 4 hours. I gave it, and then I came back and these were ready to pull off. Now these pop directly off. They've got a nice flat back and they can be glued on. I actually already used them on a project and they are so adorable. But there's a nice close-up of it. You can see these come off super, super easy of that nonstick mat. So if you have one of those, I would really suggest using it. I kept mine, or I'm keeping mine in one of those little like fishing containers where I keep sequins and that kind of thing. So that's just a little storage tip. Here's a look at that picture that I used, or at the picture of the card where I used these eyes. It turned out so adorable. Absolutely love it. That is going to do it for me today though. I want to thank you guys for watching. On the left side of your screen, there are going to be a few different links you can click on. Thanks for watching and happy crafting.